Welcome everyone to Lake Placid, New York, Skate America, the Saatva Skate America, week number 5 of 6 on the Grand Prix series. As we fly over a beautiful area of this country. It's not snowing on those pictures, but it's snowing hard outside. A big blizzard coming to Lake Placid over the next few days as we take a look at the Herb Brooks Arena. Location with such history. Here we are live inside on the final day of coverage. Up first will be the free dance, and let's talk a little bit about that. Well, on the final day of competition at Skate America, the free dance holds some potential deciding factors leading into the Grand Prix final in Nagoya. It is somewhat a given that Chock and Bates from the United States will win this event and take their 30 points all the way to the final in Japan. However, there's much more at stake on this Sunday here in Lake Placid. Marjorie, Lajoie, Zachary, Lagha of Canada sit in second with their potential 13 points should they remain there at the end of this event. That combined with their 11 points from Skate Canada puts them at 24, and that would at least put them in the conversation to make the final in Nagoya. But the plot thickens. Lopareva and Brissaud from France sitting in third, less than 1 point behind Lajoie and Lagha. They also have 11 points from their first event. So both teams will be desperate on this day to place second and take the 13 points that come along with that. Now, Carreira and Ponomarenko of the United States are in fifth, 5 points back of second, so it seems as if Grand Prix final for this team might be out of reach. All of this comes down to what happens next week in Finland at the final event for the Grand Prix. You have Fourneaux, Baudry, and Cizeron of France at 15 points. Gillies and Poirier of Canada also with 15. Then in the mix is Zingas and Kolzek of the United States with 13. Those three teams will settle who fills the quota for the Grand Prix final. So, the stage is set. Sit back and enjoy the stories on ice, the drama of sorts, the art, sport, and entertainment of the world of ice dance. Remember to pick your own favorite performance and try to recognize the best skating skills and see if your own overall assessment matches the detailed assessment of the judges. And here we go as we take a look at the start order for this event. And we get introduced to group number 1 as we get going here on day 3 here in Lake Placid. There's a look at the officials for this event, and they'll be keen and tuned in to every small detail in the sport of ice dance, and there are many details. It's quite different than pair skating and single skating. It's every edge, it's every step, and the team cannot break from performance as they'll break the magic or the spell. So here we go. We have a very exciting year in the sport of figure skating this season, and this is just one event, but every time that they step into the bright lights and under the television and the commentators and the audience, it's experience gained as they move towards the games
representing France
of 2026. Our first team represents France, Selena, Fradji, and Jean-Hans Fourneaux.
Representing Canada.
And from Canada, Alicia, Fabbri, and Paul Ayer.
Representing
and from Great Britain, Phebe, Bekker, and James Hernandez. There they are. And representing the United States of America, the brother-sister team of Oona and Gage Brown. And the final team in group number 1, representing Czechia, Katerina, Mrazkova, and Mrazek.
Dancers, your warm-up begins now.
Once again, a look at the start order, the placements, and the points from the rhythm dance on the right side of your screen. Just a reminder for the folks for the first time watching skating here. During the performance, if you look in the upper left-hand part of your screen, you'll see the scoring live as it comes in for each one of the elements. And the comparison for the leader and the current skater on the ice. The little boxes at the bottom tell you really for each element. If it's green, that means they've added points to their score, and if it's red, they've subtracted points from their score, and if it's gray, well, it's just a base value. Keep your eyes on that. there is Selena, Fradji, and Jean-Hans Fourneaux from France. Now they are fresh out of juniors, so this is their first experience. They have 56 points. That's 9 points away from the next team from Canada, but it's not about points for this team. It is about gaining experience, watching your competitors, being on the big stage here on the Grand Prix, the Senior Grand Prix. Of course, they had a great Junior Grand Prix career. Now they have moved up to seniors. So they're out here gaining experience. They'll have another 4, maybe even 8 years in this sport should they choose to stay in. So it's all about gaining experience here. They'll be the first team out. Our next team represents Canada, Alicia, Fabbri, and Ayer. Now, this team has said publicly that they always try to stay focused on the current competition and not get too ahead of themselves about Olympics and about nationals and about worlds. Just focus on what they can control at the moment they're in it. This has been Canada's bronze medal team for the past 2 seasons, but it's Olympic year, and although they're certainly in the running, there are other teams in Canada that would love to have that Olympic spot as well. So it's always a little nerve-wracking, but here they're just getting themselves to get warmed up, not only for this event, but for the whole season. As we take a look at Phebe, Bekker, and James Hernandez from Great Britain, they as well focused on being on the Olympic team for Great Britain. There is Oona and Gage Brown. They had a 70.25 in the rhythm dance. They're sitting in 4th place, or they're sitting in 7th place at the moment. And they've been as high as 4th at Skate Canada International last season and 5th at the U.S. Nationals this year, or last year, pardon me. And there is a look at the team representing Czechia, Katerina Mrazkova and Mrazek. This team carries so much speed, deep edges, they're so exciting to watch. And when they came out of juniors into seniors, they sort of rapidly moved up into the middle pack, threatening top 12 or top 10 in the world. They are exciting. They push the boundaries of getting close to disaster because they're so deep on their edges and so fast. But it's what makes this team a little bit special. As you can see, the stationary lift right there on 1 foot, not easy. The ice dancers make these lifts look just part of the choreography, which is part of the goal, and they make it look easy. Absolutely, it is not. But that's their job. Make it look easy. Just part of the connection with the music, part of the story that they're telling. And as I said in the opening, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the performance. Try to see which team you feel is the best overall, not just your favorite program, but perhaps the best overall team based on what you're seeing there. See how that compares with the scores and with the judges' placements as well.
Skaters, would you please leave the ice?
Well, there is our first team. Wonderful opportunity and experience for them. No pressure at all, except for the focus on trying to skate their best on this big stage, Grand Prix number 5. And they represent France. Selena, Fradji, Jean-Hans Fourneaux. Coached and choreographed by Ayer and Chantalou. Well, their season's best is 101.20 in the free dance. From France, Selena, Fradji and Jean-Hans Fourneaux having their first experience on the senior Grand Prix circuit. A daunting task, exciting at the same time. I'm not even sure at this moment for them the lessons that will be learned, but I can tell you, I believe they'll be inspired, being surrounded by these wonderful teams, world champions. did the best that they could do on this day. A little slower than you'll see the other teams. Certainly they don't have the speed and the power yet with the ice coverage. They have some very nice elements. We'll take a look at some of those in this free dance as they greeted by Carreira from France, their coach. Does such a wonderful job and with all her teams. As we take a look at the opening and just that little jump up into the lift. There's a rotational lift there. She's sitting on the shoulders. The change position. Right into a stationary lift, combo lift of a rotational stationary. They get a full 12, almost 13 points off of that one element with a positive GOE. That was good. There's a jump into the twizzles, both partners at level 4, so they're achieving all the features. The hand above the head, the catch of the blade, you can see that there. And a positive GOE as well on that. Little loss of balance there by Selena. Here's the pickup over the shoulder. If you think that's easy, it's not. Stepping on his thigh. And then that dip exit. Level 4 on that straight line lift. And here is the choreographed slide near the end of the program. Overall, well done for this team. They have a season's best of 101, their personal best actually as well, a 101.20. Don't think that they'll have that score here on this day, but a good introduction to the world of senior Grand Prix events. All you can do is come here, experience it, take that experience back home, and make a list of those items that you need to do to close the gap between where you're at and where the teams you just competed against are at. Slowly begin to work away at that list. That's a process that everyone uses, whether it's in junior or in senior. You have to start somewhere. And who knows where we will see this team in 4 years. Might be the stars of the Grand Prix event. We'll find out in years to come. And lots of really good discussion. You can hear Katerina talking to them, a little bit of a laugh and sort of putting things in perspective for them to keep their balance of what is to be gained here, not to worry about expectations that might be down the future, but not at the moment. Working with the mind of the skaters, so incredibly important. The body can be worked on, the training can be worked on, but the mind is important to keep it grounded. Let's take a look. Free dance scores for Selena and Johannes. 88.33. They are the first team out with a total competition score of 144.54. Again, the numbers really don't matter. It's their experience that does, and Katerina and her team will continue to work.
Now on the ice, representing
nice
Canada.
Close-up shot of our next team from Canada. Alicia, Fabbri, Paul, Ayer.
Ayer.
Ninth after the rhythm dance. And they have a season's best of 106.18. And they really would like to finish this Grand Prix season on a high with beating that personal best score. They will skate to Leave a Light On by Tom Walker.
The second someone mentioned you were all alone, I could feel the trouble coursing through your veins. Now I know, it's got a hold, If you look into the distance, there's a house upon the hill, guiding like a lighthouse. It's a place where you'll be safe to feel our grace, cause we've all made mistakes. If you've lost your way, I will leave a light on. Well, I will leave a light on. Well, I will leave a light on. I will leave a light on. Tell me what's been happening, what's been on your mind. Lately you've been searching for a darker place to hide. If you look into the distance, there's a house upon the hill, guiding like a lighthouse. It's a place where you'll be safe to feel our grace, cause we've all made mistakes. If you've lost your way, I will leave the light on. There's a house upon the hill, guiding like a lighthouse. It's a place where you'll be safe to feel our grace, cause we've all made mistakes. If you've lost your way, well, I will leave the light on. Well, I will leave the light on. Well, I will leave the light on.
Well, what a nice job by Alicia and Paul from Canada. Their second Grand Prix event of the season, and for them as well, it's gaining experience. They have emerged as one of Canada's top teams for the past 2 seasons. Still quite a gap between them and the top teams of the world, and lots of work to do, but this is part of it. Compete against the best. That was a nice performance. Nice choreography, emotional connection with the movement, with the music. As they come off the ice, and they look pretty happy with that experience. And the skaters always wanting more for themselves and wanting to be hired. You want that. You want to, you may not like it, but you want to come off here and say, that's not, we want more. We want higher scores. We want more choreography. We want a better reaction by the audience. And that's what keeps driving you forward as we take a look.
If you look into the distance, there's a house upon the
stationary lift right at the beginning of the program. Look at that, her left foot on his skate to keep her off the ice. That was nicely done. Level 4 with a positive GOE. Here's a choreographic slide move in here. And although that looks pretty, it's also not easy. Balance is so critical. And here's the twizzles. Good speed coming in, good synchronization. The arms extended, one arm extended in front. Nice steps in between. Just a little bit of a loss there by Alicia of balance. So that is actually a level 3 by both partners. So just down one level, and that difficult up over the shoulder. And then the curve lift. Placing that blade on the leg. They do it so easily, but it's, to place it, it's just training. You don't look down and say, where am I going to put that blade? It's just training. And so risky. But great job. And for this team, really, it's continuing to sort of move up that ladder and gain more experience, a little bit more speed, of course, more depth of edge, and more tightness between the elements with transitions and whatnot. They're getting better all the time out. That's 100.31. That is about 5 or 6 points shy of their season's best. It's a 165.68 total competition score, and that for the moment will put them into first place. Gaining mileage, gaining experience as they move along their journey in seniors.
Our next team represents
Our next team represents Great Britain. Phebe Bekker and James Hernandez. 20 and 24 years of age. They're 8th after the rhythm dance. And they want that Olympic berth. They'll need a 98.88 to take the lead. And they'll skate to the name's Bond. James Bond. Last year's music.
From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life.
Well, the Olympic-bound team from Great Britain, Phebe, Bekker, and James Hernandez gained great experience this year skating on the Torvill and Dean Tour, and they said how amazing an experience it was for them, continuing their development performance skills, performing in front of sold-out audiences, and you could see that passion of performance, of course, skating to Romeo and Juliet, a very passionate piece.
Great Britain.
They look pretty happy with that performance. They have a 104.10 season's best this year. We'll take a look at some of the elements. Big smiles on their face. It was a thrilling moment. When you pour your emotion into your movement, into the program, and then the emotions release right at the end, knowing you've done a really good job. Let's take a look at some of the elements here. Here's the twizzles. Good pickup of speed, unison coming in. Maybe she can straighten that free leg a little bit for Phebe on that first set of twizzles. The second set here, arms extended, drifting a little bit apart. Not a big deal, but just something they want to clean up as they move through the season. And here's the pickup over the shoulders. That's incredible. Not easy. It is not easy. The balance point there. She's got the handstand on his skate, putting pressure on that blade. Another thing that he would have to deal with, the pickup up over the shoulders on 1 foot spin, stationary lift, back up into the shoulders into rotational lift. Wow. Difficult, but beautiful. Here's an Arabian there by James. As they continue through the season, they train the program a little bit more. They'll carry a little bit more speed, momentum all the way through that program. We want to continue that speed and flow as if it's effortless. And that just takes almost hundreds of run-throughs. But they look pretty thrilled with that performance. As I mentioned, 104.10 is their season's best. And they might come close to topping that score here. They have a 109 personal best overall. Might fall a little bit short of that, but we'll see. As that now, the scores don't matter for many of these teams in qualifying for anything. They do matter for understanding if they're making progress throughout the season. Are the scores getting better? And sometimes the scores are a little bit lower, but as they look at the detail of the report card, they can understand where they've lost points and where they've gained points. So that report card is so important for analyzing the detail of which skaters work in throughout their season, throughout their training. So progress can be made and it's seen by them, but not by others, because they need to know, well, what are the elements we didn't do well last time, or have we improved them this time? So important. So sometimes we see the scores and we see the performance, but we don't see the whole year. We don't put the whole year in perspective. And that's what a coach, choreographer, and skaters must do. Well, they had a number of elements. Out of the 9 elements, they had 5 reviews. So it certainly takes a technical panel, and that's the panel identifying the element that they just performed and the level of difficulty that they did. And of course, the judges apply, plus or minus scores to those depending on how well they did it. And so right now, with that many reviews, it takes a little bit longer in the scoring. There's no problem with the system. We had a little bit of a problem yesterday, but I think it's just a matter of 5 replay by the technical panel just to make sure that they get the scores exactly correct based on what the skaters have done. So they have an option to push a review during the performance, take a look at the element after their performance, and look at it in detail to make sure the score is correct.
The scores, please.
And here it is, the scores for free dance for Phebe and James.
The free dance score.
Really nice people. And it's a season best, 106.35, so they have to be pleased with that score. He said yes. The total competition score, 173.16, as they take the lead.
They are currently in first place. They are on the ice
Our next
representing
team
the
represents the United
States of America. Ladies and gentlemen,
21-year-old Oona,
Oona
23-year-old
Brown
Gage,
and
the
Gage
brother-sister,
Brown.
Oona and Gage Brown. 104.95 is their season's best. And they'll love to beat that score right now, finishing the Grand Prix season for them as they prepare for the national championships a little bit later this year. They'll skate the free dance to the Godfather. Well, folks, that was simply outstanding from an entertainment perspective. Wow, that is my favorite. This team, this was a perfect music selection and choreography for this team at this stage of their career. Absolutely outstanding. Will other teams be a little bit more powerful, perhaps a little bit more ice coverage, depth of edge? Perhaps. And all the detail left for the judges, that's fine. But for this team, this was brilliant on this day. And you can tell by the audience, they loved it. And so did I. What a journey this team has had in their career, going from juniors, seen them for years at that stage, up into seniors, and always sort of a little bit further back than the other team, but you can see they're gaining momentum. The detail of the choreography, so well designed, and very interesting and surprising moves as we see that up over the shoulders and the curve left. Look at the back bend there and his deep edges. That was beautiful. That's in level 4 with a plus GOE. So adding to the base score. Look at that choreo slide here. Look at that. He's just doing like a spiral on his knees. That is so difficult to maintain your balance. You're not on your blades, you're on your knee. Wow. And look, they're emotional because that is the best this team, I think. I'm just giving you a personal opinion. I don't like to give too many opinions here. I think it's the best this team has ever skated. And the progress they have made. I don't know what the score is like. There you have a season's best of 104. I suspect they'll beat that score. But for this team, on this day, this was brilliant. Gotta love this sport. You have to love this discipline. 104, they want to beat that score, but it's a new season's best. 111.86, thumbs up by Gage Brown. That is first in the free dance with a 182.11, also the season's best overall score as they take the lead. You brought a lot of joy to the audience here, both live in the building and around the world. Thank you for that, Oona and Gage. Our next team represents Czechia. Brother-sister team, powerful skaters, Katerina, Mrazkova, and Mrazek. Well, this, again, is innovation and interesting as they are far apart to start this skating to Malgonia. Wow, what a disappointment on the ending of that program for Katerina and Danielle with that fall. We'll have to take a look. We will take a look at that in the replays, see exactly what happened. And it's interesting, and I was thinking all through this program what people thought of the skirt. I love the movement of it, and I love the focus of it, and it's part of the story, if you will. But was it distracting for people? Was it distracting for the judges? Everybody will have a different opinion. I think it adds to the drama, to the story, and I love it. But I also understand how that could be distracting. We'll see whether that had any role in that fall. I don't know whether it did or not. We'll take a look. But as I mentioned on the warm-up, this team is very aggressive. Look how fast they get. He almost lost the balance there. He skidded, so that slowed the turns down a little bit. But they're very, very fast. They push the limits, and I love that about this team. It's also a little bit risky. Look at the depth of edge on that curve lift. Huge, deep edge. Of course, in at a level 4, the nice positive GUE, so adding points to the quality or to the base value through the quality throughout this program. All the elements in the positive GUE with a good score. Now, was that in synchronization? It was hard to see their legs because you see a lot of this skirt, of course, is part of the story. That was nice. The twizzles coming in at level 4 for both partners. And we didn't see the ending there in the fall. So the choreographic slide has the fall right at the end of the program. They have a season's best of 107. They're going to fall a little short of that on this day. And you can see they're upset, understandably so. 103.31, that is third in the free dance for Katerina and Danielle. We'll see where the overall score is, 176.04. And that'll put them for the moment at least into second place. Wow. Oona and Gage Brown are still in the lead at the end of group number 1. So get introduced to group number 2. Our first team representing the United States of America, Christina, Carreira, and Anthony Ponomarenko. There they are. And from France, Loicia, Demougeot, and Theo, Mercier. And in third place, after the rhythm dance from France, Evgeniia, Lopareva, and Geoffrey Brissaud. From Canada, currently in second place, Marjorie, Lajoie, Zachary, Lagha. Talked about how important these points are for this team to try to stay in second. The same thing for the French team to try to climb into second place. It'll be a battle for sure. But here are the current world champions, Madison, Chock, Evan Bates. And they have a good 7-point lead, so it's going to be a matter of just giving more mileage on this performance in their free dances. They are the current world champions and perhaps the favorites moving towards the Olympic Games. But the field is tight. So many good teams around the world. We'll see more of those next week in Finland. The final Grand Prix event. That will be so interesting, so close. I won't want to miss that. I won't miss that. I'll watch online. There is Christina Carreira and Anthony Ponomarenko. 5th in the world last season. And doing that at home in Boston, how exciting that was. But their expectations for themselves are now higher. And maybe from others as well. Do they feel the pressure? I talked to them a little earlier this week, and they said no question that they train as hard as they normally do, but they feel a little bit different in the Olympic season when that dream that you've had as a child is there in front of you. It's exciting and it's nerve-wracking, but you have to go through the journey, and they find themselves into the place here, perhaps a little bit of a surprise, certainly a disappointment, but they have to put that behind them as they move forward. Loicia and Theo from France. They're currently in 4th place. They are 3 points away from 3rd. And this team is not so far removed from junior ranks a number of years ago. And they continue to improve and move up the ranks. They won 2 medals on the Junior Grand Prix, and the series was canceled at the start of COVID. They aged out and they moved up into the seniors. We take a look at another French team, Evgeniia, Lopareva, and Geoffrey, Brissaud. This is so important for this team. They currently sit in 3rd place. They need that 2nd place, those 13 points, to improve their odds of making the Grand Prix final in Nagoya. They cannot, as all these teams, cannot afford a big mistake. And you can see what happened to Katerina and Danielle from Czechia with that fall at the end of the program. It was really costly for their score. There is Marjorie Lajoie and Zachary Lagha. They currently are in 2nd place, and they as well desperately need those 13 points that come along with that position to give themselves a shot at the Grand Prix final. Of course, next week in Finland, a number of teams that have more points are in the game, and their fate will be determined, yes, today by the position they finish in, but really by next week, what the other teams do. It's going to be an exciting event here today and next week as well. Well, there is Madison, Chock, and Evan Bates, and we expect them to obviously win the event here. The skate well, we'll see, get a sort of a preview again of where they're at in this Olympic season. And of course, the other teams that will be in Finland next week probably watching this event right now to gauge themselves not only against the score that they will receive here, but also their content. The sport is so beautiful and so entertaining that sometimes we lose the thought of what these athletes go through mentally, internally, with the biggest dream of their life in front of them, the Olympic Games. And the race towards that goal, the ups and downs, how you manage it, how you keep things in perspective. Here we go, the final group. As the skaters clear the ice, and of course, Chock and Bates will have to skate last. And how you spend your time backstage. You take your skates off, you go for a walk. What do you do with that time?
Representing the United States of America.
But our first team is up.
Would you please welcome
next,
now
representing the United States of America, Christina, Carreira, and Anthony Ponomarenko, looking to redeem themselves a little bit from that rhythm dance. They're such a strong team. They're number 5 in the world, but they're also number 5 here right now after the rhythm dance. And they'll skate the free dance to Notre Dame de Paris.
terre. Laissez mon âme s'envoler, loin des misères de la terre. Laissez mon amour se mêler à la lumière de l'univers. Danse mon espérance, chante mon espérance. Danse encore un peu pour moi, je te désire en lui. Danse mon espérance, chante mon espérance. Laisse-moi partir avec toi, mourir pour toi n'est pas mourir.
Well, this was better. They brought the emotion from inside them to outside, connecting with the music and the choreography. And we'll see what the sports side is and how the judges, the technical panel, see it. Out of the 9 elements, just 2 are under review. That's actually a good sign, the clarity of the elements that they're doing. And all the GOEs, that is the score, that they can add scores throughout that program for the quality in which they perform the elements. They're all in the positives. Some are at 3, 2, in the mid-2s. So they're gaining a lot of points because of the quality of everything that they did. The levels of difficulty are not too bad as well. Let's take a look here. Here is the Twizzles, the entrance, level 4 for both. You can see the moving arms on the first side. Just a little jump coming out of the first set of Twizzles. Beautiful. Second set right in there. Arms beautifully placed in the third set, which is a feature. Level 4 for both, plus GOE of 2.28. Look at the curve on that. That's incredible. Depth of edge by Anthony. And then the second side, curve to curve combination of actually level 3 only on the second curve, maybe not deep enough. See this sliding move a little bit later in the program, right up into the end. Well, 116.24 is their season's best, and we'll see how close they come to that.
Christina, Carreira, and Anthony Ponomarenko of the United States.
At the 113.29, and that is enough to put them into first place in the free dance with a total competition score of 186.03. So they take the lead. So mission accomplished so far for this team. They want more. They can do more. This is a great team. They weren't 5th in the world for a reason. Got some work to do throughout the rest of the season.
Speaking on behalf of France, a big welcome, please.
Our next team from France, Loicia, Demougeot, and Theo the Mercier. They have a 110.33 season's best at the Nepola Memorial Trophy competition earlier this season. And they'll skate the free dance to the Curse of the Sad Mummy, an Enemy by Imagine Dragons.
Our performance begins. The stage is set. You will be poetry.
child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. Then the curse began to whisper in his ear, and would confirm what was Amumu's biggest fear. It pledged that never shall someone become his friend. It pledged that he shall be alone until his end. Sorrow and despair became too much to bear.
Which is the lie? The mask? Or my face?
I wake up to the sounds of the silence that allows for my mind to run around with my ear up to the ground. I'm searching to behold the stories that I told when my back is to the world that was smiling when I turned.
Art is worth the pain.
Well, this team of Loicia and Theo continue to get creative and innovative. So interesting to watch. Intense program. Wonderful little choreographic connections between the elements. And we'll take a look at some of this. You can see the smile. They were pretty pleased with that performance. It is detailed for sure. It needs to be precise and exact. You cannot make mistakes in programs like this. It just destroys the spell that you're trying to cast over the audience and the judges. And they didn't. In fact, I would suspect they're going to beat their season's best score of 110. We'll see. Take a look at this. Watch here as he continues to move. She is motionless, suspended in the air, and yet moving. It's just a beautiful moving statue. It's fantastic. And that is a stationary 4 into rotational 4. Plus GOE of 3.84. That's a huge score. And that up over the shoulder into the curve lift, that has a great score as well. quality of everything they do are adding to their base value of the elements. There's the twizzles, good synchronization, movement of the arms between both a level 4, but actually a level 2 for Theo. So he dropped 2 levels on that second side, I think, of the twizzles. Here's the choreographic steps coming right at the judges. Look at this pickup, how snaps up over. Wow. It's a lot of force coming down on him as she settles into the position on that lift. He handled it beautifully as they embrace. Pleased with that performance here at Grand Prix number 5. Now they have a 110.33 season's best, so where will this score take them as they close out their Grand Prix experience? The season's best, new one, 113.22. That is second in the free dance, and a total competition score of 186.69, and that'll put them into first place. And you can see that, phew, the pressure released as they see that number 1 beside their name as they take the lead. With 3 teams to go.
Now on the ice, representing France, a big welcome.
Currently in 3rd place, and this team needs that 2nd place. They need to move up. Evgeniia, Lopareva, and Geoffrey Brissaud from France. A 118.98, earning that at the Cup of China earlier in the Grand Prix. They'll skate to All Is Full of Love, the return in Bachelorette. Well, for Evgeniia and Geoffrey, they wove back and forth, covering the ice with this interesting choreography. There's a little fist pump there at the end. They're pleased with that performance. And I found that they have improved speed and ease across the ice, particularly in the first part of the program. There's just continuous glide and flow and speed. Near the end of the program, they had certain more sliding movements and whatnot, slowed it down perhaps a little bit, but still a beautiful program and a wonderful, brilliant performance. We'll take a look at where their numbers will take them, because they need to get into second. Get that 13 points as we see the pull through into the Twizzles. Nice and close there on the exit. Grabs the blade, changes his hand. They step forward, outside, right outside edge, clockwise, which is opposite direction for most of skaters' rotation. Look at this curve lift here, holding her upside down. Takes a lot of strength. Curve to curve combination lift. Both at level 4. Those twizzles actually came in at level 3 for both, so they're losing a little bit of points. That's actually under review at the moment. Let's see what the technical panel comes up with, and here some of the sliding move near the end of the program. And this is beautiful, right to the music. It was just phrased perfectly. Right to the end. Oh, what a nice program. What a wonderful team. Now, that Twizzle is still being looked at right now by the technical panel, so they're probably taking some time, and there might be a bit of a debate between a feature or two here. Currently in at level 3 for both, so they would love to see those turn up to 4s. That would make a difference. Either way, they're going to be, I believe, in first place after they get their scores, but it's what's going to happen after, and particularly with this next team on the ice.
The scores, please.
Same coaches for both teams. Not an easy job. Let's take a look at the scores. It is a 115.89. That is first in the free dance, with a total competition score of 192.61. And that will put them into first place, as I suggested. So they have a medal, but the color of that medal is critical for them. Yeah, hard to see the screen. There you go. Critical for them to make the final. Because this team might be in their way at the moment.
Marjorie Lajoie.
But we'll see. Marjorie Lajoie, Zachary Lagha of Canada, second after the rhythm dance, but it's ever, ever so close. They need to be brilliant on this day. They need to skate their best, keep the flow, keep the emotion, and deliver as they'll skate to the White Crow. Well, that music and this team casts a spell here in Lake Placid in this building, but you could see in the upper left-hand part of the screen the technical score was just hundreds ahead of Lopareva and Brissaud from France. Will it be enough? It's going to be ever so close. But I think it will be as we start to see the scores coming in. 9 for composition, almost 9 for performance, and the high 8s for skating skills. Mesmerizing performance by Marjorie and Zach. And I was thinking as I was watching so closely in this performance how difficult the discipline is, and not because of this team at all, because of all the teams. They cannot make a mistake. We saw that little jump into the twizzles, nice and close. Here's the steps in between. Great extension, turned out toe. Good unison on that second set. As we see here, this pickup on the back edge, holding that into the spread eagle as she goes down. That is incredibly difficult, and it might be missed by most people, but he had to hold her and softly bring her down into that position. As we take a look near the ending here. Wow. And what I wanted to say was, for all these teams, I'm just thinking that it's so beautiful. You get lost in the difficulty. It's incredible. Just one small little bobble by one partner will set a chain reaction. It's so difficult to mesmerize people while you're doing these incredibly difficult lifts and spins and edges and turns. And wow, I want the world to know how hard this is, but I want them to appreciate how beautiful it is, which we do, but remarkably difficult. Now they have a 116.46 is their season's best. And the first place score in the free dance is 115.20 at the moment. Need to beat that. But they look pretty happy with that performance, and so they should be. And it's very delicate in many ways, so any mistake will break that delicate movement and the connection to the music. The scores for the free dance, 119.74. That is a season's best. It's first, and even Zach, and he's hard on himself for sure. He said, whoa, that's good. Season's best, 197.16. Marjorie, Lajoie, Zachary, Lagha are in the lead with one team to come. They will take those valuable 13 points out of this event. That was special.
They are on the ice representing the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen,
the undeniable
Madison,
leaders
Chock,
after the rhythm dance. The world champions, the favorites probably going into the Olympic Games, but there are many good teams around the world. We'll see them next week. As we take a look at some of their fans and family in the audience. They'll skate to paint it black.
America, Madison Chock and Evan Bates.
Well, that was dramatic ending, no question, as the fans in the stands are on their feet for Chock and Bates.
One more time.
Skating to paint it black. A new sort of take. Had a feel of a tango almost. And the drama of darkness. Skating in front of the fans, but also their family, their moms and dads in the stands. And what they feel as they watch this. What a great lift up over the shoulders into that difficult position, back up in the back, standing on the thighs on that combo lift. Just incredible, really. You break it down and you say, well, who can do that? It is so incredibly difficult and yet so beautiful. Take a look at the Trizzles here. Of course, in at level 4 for both, with 2.5 points added because of the quality of that element. There's some of the snappy steps coming right at the judges. There's the up over the shoulders rotational lift here. Good speed across the ice. Take a look at this, up over the shoulders, over the body, down onto the blade. Just incredible how easy they make it look. How risky it is too. Not on this day. Wow. That was great. So they have a season's best of 123.81. And their program component scores 9.46, 9.39, 9.29. So extremely high program component scores, and the plot thickens as we go along this Grand Prix season. Of course, we've got some fabulous teams next week in Finland. You won't want to miss that. As we move towards the Grand Prix final, the Grand Prix final in Nagoya is going to give you a good indication of the top 6 skaters in the singles, pairs, and dance, those leaders moving into the Olympic Games, who sort of might be the favorites going into the games. So much can be told from that, but no guarantees, of course. You have to skate every time out. But that is going to be a thrilling competition, both the junior Grand Prix final and the senior. Here we go, the scores for Madison Chock, Evan Bates. You want to beat that 123.81.
Madison Chock and Evan Bates of the United States of America have earned a free dance score.
And they do with a 127.81, season's best. Of course, that's first in the free dance. With a total competition score of 212.58 as they take the title, as was expected by all of us. So they have gathered 30 points going to the Grand Prix final in Nagoya in early December. As we take a look at the standings, Madison and Evan, Marjorie and Zachary, a great result for them. Evgeniia and Geoffrey take the bronze. And a look at the rest of the field. Well, the audience certainly is getting a wonderful day of competition here on Grand Prix number 5 of 6. And up next will be the women's. The women's short program was really exciting, and the free program.
Madison and Evan, you just put down an incredible performance out here. This is your 15th season together and your 7th Skate America. How special is this?
It's incredibly special. It means so much to us to be here and to be able to perform for all of you. Walking through the halls of a rink that holds so much history means so much to us, and we're so happy that we could perform, and we enjoyed every moment.
Like Maddie said, we've been coming to Lake Placid since we were almost babies, since we were young teenagers coming for the summer ice dance competition. We somehow took our first photograph here in downtown Lake Placid, and there's so much sentimental history here, and it just feels right to come here in the Olympic season and do Skate America in front of a home crowd. It's just the best.
Well, you guys just won your 5th. Yeah, let them hear it, everybody. You just won your 5th title here. You are remarkable. We can't wait to see what else you have in store for the rest of the season. Lake Placid, your Skate America champions, Madison Chock and Evan Bates.
Well, the world champions continue their journey, as do others in this field and around the world watching this event as they move towards the Grand Prix final. One more Grand Prix, as I mentioned, in Finland next week. We'll tell the tale of who will qualify in all the disciplines to go to the Grand Prix final in Nagoya. Here we go. Let's take a look at the top 3 teams in this event. From France, Evgeniia, Lopareva, and Geoffrey Brissaud. Great ice coverage of the first half of the program. They're interesting team, intricate and detailed. Look at this lift, upside down, difficult to hold, change of position. And they were really good on this day. They'll want more, no question. They'll go back home, work hard, try to close that gap between themselves and the team that came second here, gathering the 13 points, Marjorie, Lajoie, and Zachary Lagha from Canada. They skated a brilliant free program to the White Crow. And they needed that program to have a chance to get to the Grand Prix final. They delivered on this day here in Lake Placid. Lajoie and Lagha from Canada. And of course, there they are, Madison Chock and Evan Bates, the best team in the world from last year, leading into the Olympic season. Incredible lift. Precise in the detail, dramatic in their performance and delivery. Great little jump up into that rotational lift. And the drama right here at the end. And there you go. Well, that completes our coverage here in the free dance. Up next will be the women's free program. You won't want to miss that. It'll be an exciting event. We hope you've enjoyed the free dance.